And a one and a two. Hit it, Pat.
All right. Welcome back to Georgia Peachcast, coming to you from Cherokee County, Georgia. This is Pat.
And this is Greg.
Okay. And we're going to start off with the early election, or the election that just happened up in North Cherokee County, District 23. Our first time candidate got 28% of the vote. Again, up in the very heavy red North Cherokee County District. And again, he will be around, and he has now got visibility, and we hope that he will find another way to run for another office somewhere along the line. In November, possibly. We're working on it. Scott Anderson is his name, in case anybody didn't go out and vote, and you should have, but keep in mind his name. We'll be mentioning his name again if in fact he does decide to run in the next possible election, maybe toward November.
Yeah, and I think that a first-timer like him, getting 28% of the vote in a heavily red district like Cherokee County, which is in the top 5 most red counties in the nation, is actually a pretty good showing for a first-timer.
Absolutely. And again, we hope that there are more on ballots, that people will have choices of people to vote for, which has not been the case up until recently.
Yep. And that's a real strong point that you're bringing up. We need Democrats and independents to run in these red counties.
Right.
You know, we need to, and they need to keep running, because your first time out, you're not going to get much because you don't have the name, but you just keep running. We got a couple candidates here in our area that are running again for state level representation, so we're excited about that, and you'll be hearing from us on them in the coming weeks.
I've been hearing it. We've been hearing it for a long time that they didn't even know that there were choices in Cherokee County up until recently. So the more choices that we give people, the better it is for the democracy.
Yeah, we got to make sure that on future ballots, there's a lot less uncontested seats being run for.
Absolutely. That
only have Republican candidates. Okay. So we got to move that in that direction.
All right. Speaking about Venezuela, go ahead.
Yeah, speaking about, lack of representation. So we should all be aware of the craziness that's going around. And, this is just a continuation of the rampant criminality of this administration. It's so much that it's the state of affairs of the last few years that we barely even recognize that anymore. We put up with things from this administration that we never would have guessed would be happening in the last, 10 years ago. So, the whole Venezuela thing is just crazy. I mean, if any other prior administration had, perpetrated an illegal war so brazenly like this, people would be lining up in the streets. But, it's just another day in the Trump administration, So, what's going on? They have a huge military buildup for spurious reasons about drug trafficking, which has, that they don't import cocaine from there. That all comes from Mexican cartels and Central American cartels. This is nuts. And, so what are they doing? They're trying to install a puppet regime. They're stealing the national wealth of a country. Yeah. And it's just out and out theft of that resource.
It's so fluid. It's going to, everybody's got to keep an eye on the ball, but there's going to be changes. Venezuela isn't giving it up to Trump as much as he wants to have it. I had one other comment I got to stick in here. Okay, we had 150 planes involved. How many ships involved? In the meantime, we blow up little speedboats. We can't even stop the speedboats to find out, are they really, they really got drugs on the board, or is it really just marijuana rather than heroin? And probably is. And yet we can put 150 planes in to go get this guy. To me, it's Trump being, playing soldier.
He's a bully, and now he has all the tools of a nation to be a bully. Yeah. So that's what he's doing. It is so sad that we're spending millions and millions of dollars on these military operations that are completely unnecessary, and we're dialing back on SNAP benefits and Medicare and Medicaid. It's a crime against humanity, but that's Donald Trump's modus operandi. Crime. He's been a criminal all of his adult life. If you go back in New York and you find out what he's done as a slumlord in New York City, it's absolutely just his pattern of behavior. So, and just to kind of nail this home, we have a little clip I want to share with you. And this is from an Instagram post by BBC Sounds. That's BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation, highly respected journalism. So have a listen to this.
Venezuela oil industry with American talent, drive, and skill, and the socialist regime stole it from us. This constituted one of the largest thefts of American property in the history of our country.
When Donald Trump talks about that is our oil and it was stolen from us, he's not referring to Maduro stealing it or even Chavez. This goes back to 1976 and a president that was not left-wing. So this nationalization happened 50 years ago, and I pulled out a New York Times article from the time, from 1975, when this move was announced, and there was no outcry. There was no outcry in the US saying, oh my God, they're stealing our oil. It was actually said in that article that 97% of the people who worked in those facilities and those oil fields at the time were Venezuelans, and the US would get compensated. So yes, of course, in the 1920s and the 1930s, the Venezuelan oil industry was built up with American know-how and American input. But back when it was nationalized, it was already mainly run by Venezuelans.
And that is the voice of Vanessa Buchschluter. And she's a longtime Latin American editor for the BBC's online postings. Okay, and so the facts are that, sure, the industry was built up by American know-how and American oil companies working with the Venezuelan government, but they extracted a ton of wealth over decades for that. So when it was nationalized, it was no big deal. They didn't complain. They didn't have the U.S. government go and steal it back. This is just rampant theft from the Venezuelan people.
Yep.
And there we go. The rampant criminality continues. And in addition to that, if you spend some time online, you're going to find out, there's a lot of logical conversations happening out there about that. On a Reddit post by No Poem 7024, going after the oil was a terrible idea. The oil is costly to refine. It's actually harder to refine, and the U.S. has oil galore. We're one of the greatest exporters of oil in the world. We don't need Venezuelan oil unless people just want to make billions of dollars off of it. So the oil is going to come to America. Yeah. We're going to refine it, which means the oil companies that own the refineries, of which there are only a few, are going to make billions of dollars refining it. And then we're going to sell it internationally. This isn't even for us as American people.
No. And then and the oil companies are not ready to spend billions of dollars to go get that oil that they don't really need. It's it's just an excuse for him to play games and to pivot away from, which is our next subject, pivot away from the two other areas that we should be concentrating on. Okay, Jack Smith's release to the Senate committee, which is now being released to the public, actually how it says how much proof he's got to Trump's involvement and actually his, illegal involvement in the January 6th. We realize it's 5 years ago, the January 6th, and he's still around after being involved in that, and he was co-person to push that. What's the word I'm looking for? Greg, help me.
What, a co-conspirator?
He's complicit.
Oh, he's completely complicit.
He was complicit in the January 6th, and that release is out there now. Jack Smith has said how much proof he has that there's no doubt about it. We should be concentrating on hearing that, and we should be hearing about that from the Democratic senators and Democratic House people. Those are the things that should be being considered right now. And all he's been able to, for the time being, for the short period of time, he's going to be able to pivot away by the Venezuela thing. And my suggestion is, please don't let that happen. Don't let it happen. The fact that he's a criminal in the January 6th insurrection, and that's what it was an insurrection. And then we can move on to his pivoting away from the Epstein files release.
Yeah, and if you hear people talking about how oh, this is America's right, blah blah blah, go look at Donald Trump's Truth Social posting that was just posted recently. Here's a little snippet of it for you. Now, I am pleased to announce that the interim authorities in Venezuela are going to be turning over between 30 and 50 million barrels of high-quality sanctioned oil to the United States. This oil will be sold at its market value, and that money will be controlled by me as President of the United States of America to ensure it is used to the benefit of the people of Venezuela and the United States. Oh, he's going to control the money. Where does anybody think that money's actually going to go?
Right.
He has showed time and again that he loves to steal money from other people. Okay? And so, keep your eye on the ball. The criminality that Jack Smith is exposing and the distraction away from that and the Epstein files, that is their game.
Right. Also remember that the Epstein, the administration just again illegally ignored the fact that 3 days ago they were supposed to have given out an explanation for every redaction that was in the file on the Epstein file. They have not done that. So all of those files that are all redacted are supposed to be explained why they were redacted. Has not happened. Again, it was illegal. Congress had set a deadline. So he has legally missed that deadline and ignored it, and people are going to forget about it. And I'm sorry, we're not going to let the people forget about it. We're going to continue to say, do not forget about what he should and what they should be doing legally. And when they do it illegally and ignore things as they've been doing it almost all through his administration, we're not going to let that happen.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
No, I think that's great thing to bring up. Is that everything this administration is doing is to distract us away from the consequences that are trying to be put forth by the law. What makes us a unique nation in history is we always were a law and order nation, and that the rule of law is what enables us to be successful economically. This administration is trying to destroy that, which means you and I and everyone else are going to be that much poorer as a result. Yeah. So, keep your eye on the ball. Keep talking to your friends and neighbors. Keep pounding the Epstein files. Those young women of that time who are now, much older and wiser deserve justice. They deserve justice for what was done to them, and that should be the narrative.
That should be. He has to atone for that, and we're going to make sure that that message continues.
Yes, and for the insurrection of January 6th.
Yes, absolutely.
If that had been a Democrat running that show, the Republicans would be shouting from the rooftops again and again and again, and we have to do the same thing.
Speaking about shouting from the rooftops, we want to wrap this up and kind of remind everybody, all right? Make your calls to your senators and your representatives. Tell them how you feel. People have got to get involved. If we're going to make any major changes in this midterm coming up, we need people to get involved. Do not be afraid to say what you think. Tell them what you want to hear from them, and then do it in any way you want to do it. Leave a message, talk to somebody in their offices, write letters,
email, social media. But also remember, don't forget your state representatives. If we're going to flip this thing around long term, the states we need to get rid of the Republican stranglehold on state legislatures. Okay, so we need to make it a lot more balanced and hold their feet to the fire.
Amen.
All right?
Yep, I think we'll wrap it up for today. Thank you.
Yep, we appreciate your listening to us, and we wish you all the best week possible. Keep your friends and family close to you, and be safe out there.
And please spread your word about the podcast. We can use as many people as possible signed on.
Yeah, and subscribe, hit that like button, and take good care of yourselves, folks.